Hello, is this better? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Ashwin? Ashwin?
Ashwin,
Can you
can you
hear
hear
now?
now?
Is
Is
this
this
better?
better?
Great. Thank you for letting me know. So I'm sorry, these little things happen once in a while. Do let me know and let's, not uh, wait for any longer because we need to get going. But if you ever see that either there's no clear visibility or not no clear audibility, please make it known to me. I need to know so that I can serve you better. Thank you so much. Thanks for being there, Ashwin, and thanks for showing me. This is really great. Okay. So today's theme, if you looked at it, is keeping your word. Confidence is never made by making small sorry, making huge promises to yourself. It's made by making small tiny promises and built one bit at a time. So I would like you today to consider that. And whom do you need to keep the promises to? That's what we're going to talk about. Now, when we talk about promises, the one thing that people tend to feel is a high level of guilt, and we don't want that. We definitely don't want that because we are on a path where we begin again. So if there is a time when you have missed something, let's make up for that. So today what we're going to talk about is trust. Okay, trusting. Who do we trust is what we're going to look at. Okay, so I'd like you to sit back comfortably, close your eyes, and take 3 deep breaths. Sorry about that. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, and breathe in again. Wonderful. Have you ever written yourself a reminder or set an alarm for something and ignored it? I'm guilty of that myself. I set alarms sometimes saying, hey, this time I'm going to do this. And I'm just going to be like, oh, okay. When it shows up, yeah, I'll do it. Or mute it. And then it shows up the next day and I'm like, yeah, okay, mute it. You know, yeah, not now. I'm too busy or I can't do this right now. Or yeah, this can wait. So yeah, I'll start on a Tuesday. Maybe Friday is a good day to start. So if, I can do a little more on the weekend. All of these things that we tell ourselves. And then we begin to think that motivation is disappearing, right? We begin to think that our motivation is disappearing. Sometimes it's just that trust begins to disappear. And who is that trust disappearing on or for? That is the question. So, friends, I'll tell you a story. okay, like we usually do. And let's see how that begins to affect us. So let's say you have a friend, okay, and you want to call them home on the over the weekend. So you say, okay, we planned something for Saturday, and so we'd love to have you come home. Please come home, and we have this kind of a menu. If there's something else that you'd like, please let us know, and we'll make that for you. And they say, yeah, sure, I'll definitely be there. Okay, and then they don't show up. The next week, you send out this message saying, hey, you couldn't come last week, so this week we're meeting again. Would you like to come now? And then they say, yeah, 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 definitely we'll be there. And then they can't show up. Over time, when this happens over 3 or 4 times, what begins to happen? The person may not be a bad person. The person may not be someone that's not interested in coming and lying to you about it. Maybe they genuinely have something going on, right? It's not at all because they're wanting to ghost you in any way. They say they'll come, they make a promise, but they're unable to come. Things come up, life happens, they're unable to come. Now, what happens to you? You begin to stop feeling excited when they say yes, right? Can I hear a yes on that? You begin to stop feeling excited when they say, yes, we'll come. Correct. Can I hear a couple of answers there? I want to see something on the chat. Come on, guys. Yeah. So it's not because you don't like them, but because you've learned that their word is something they don't keep when it comes to what they say. So their actions are not meeting their words, right? Not always, not for everything, but definitely not for coming to your place. And now I want you to think about what happens to you when this happens. What if that is the relationship you're building with yourself accidentally? Think about that. You promise yourself something and you keep saying later, later, and then you stop feeling excited about whatever it is that you want to do later. All the excitement is gone. So that particular project, whether it's beginning to exercise or making a new recipe or just, you know, doing something like making a phone call or finding out about something that you want to start doing. Maybe you want to join an art class and you try to call them and you say later, 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 and you put it away and you don't realize that years have gone by because life is happening to you. People need to be cared for, children need to be cared for, your family needs to be taken care of, you need to work, your business needs your attention. And so, this little thing that you've been wanting to do for years goes back, 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 back. So, without you realizing, that is the relationship you've ended up creating with yourself accidentally, not because you wanted to, not at all because you wanted to. Now, I want you to look at yourself with kindness, not with anger, with just a little kindness. And remember that every time you keep one small promise to yourself, you're rebuilding trust. Not with the world, not with those friends outside there, not with these societal groups that you're part of, whether you're part of a reading club or you're a part of a group of men or women who meet regularly, family events that you meet regularly for, not them. Every small promise you keep to yourself rebuilds your trust in yourself. And when you can trust yourself, you can trust another. If you don't know how to trust yourself, you don't know how to trust other people. And if you don't know how to distinguish between when it's probably a business call that you need to make sometimes. Somebody is not able to keep their word. You cannot distinguish whether they're just putting it off for some time or they're going to put it off forever. So you waste time at work or in your business because you don't know how to distinguish between putting something off and not being reliable. So if somebody else is not being reliable, you don't know what to say to them, right? And when you build your trust with yourself and you know that you can rely on yourself, you know when to identify that somebody is not being reliable at work, business, or not showing up when it's really necessary, even socially, even with family and community, right? So, the most important person that you need to build yourself up is the person that you look at in the mirror every morning when you wake up, not somebody else, my dears. The most important person is that person you see in the mirror yourself. So, know this: self confidence isn't loud, it's very quiet. Self trust is very quiet. It's the calm feeling that you have when you say, I'll do something and I know that I will try. I know I will try. Which is why I often recommend to people that even if you say you will read and you're unable to read, you cannot give yourself half an hour to read or an hour to read, read for 3 minutes a day. Just make that promise to yourself. 3 minutes is good enough. You'll probably read a page. You'll probably read only half a page on some days. You probably read only 2 lines on some days at, in 3 minutes, depending on the text that you're reading, depending on your mood and your ability to focus at that time. You may read just 2 lines. You may read 3 pages, 1 minute per page. You may read half a page. It doesn't matter. The fact that you picked up that book and you actually attempted to read for 3 minutes instead of 30 is what builds that self trust for you. You know that you've tried to keep that promise to yourself, right? So I'd like to hear a yes if you think that this is a good way of doing it. Or maybe you can say this is a good way in the comments. I'm waiting for a response. Okay, thank you. Definitely one of the things that I've been saying from the beginning, one thing that we don't necessarily look for is perfection. We're not looking for certainty. We're just looking at a little bit of integrity with yourself. Just a little bit of integrity with yourself, right? So, someone was asking me one day, how do you manage getting on time? Do you keep an alarm? I said, no, I keep a watch of the time. Sometimes, because of technical glitches, it may be a minute or two late because, by the time I start my software here and it actually shows up on YouTube, it takes a little longer, right? So you may see that, even if I started at 8:30, sometimes you may see it start at 8:32 or something like that sometimes. But that's not because I've chosen to show up late, right? So I keep this promise to myself to show up here for myself and for you because it means a lot to me. This project means a lot to me. Okay? So, with that, I'd like you to close your eyes and take 3 slow breaths along with me. So, breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out again slowly. Breathe in and breathe out slowly. Now, imagine meeting yourself 5 years from now, 5 years in the future. That you doesn't look dramatically different. There's nothing much that has changed in the physical appearance, but something about them feels peaceful, feels grounded and steady. And you ask, what changed? What changed? And you know that future you doesn't mention money or achievements or success. That future you only says to you, I started believing in my own words. I started believing in my own words. And they hand you a small key and you ask, what is this for? And they smile and say, it's the key to trusting yourself again. It's the key to trusting yourself again. Look closely. The key has one word engraved on it. Today. Not next month, not next year. The only one word that is engraved on that key is today. Now imagine choosing one tiny promise. Simple as drink more water, take a walk, read 2 pages, go to bed just 5 or 10 minutes earlier. Send someone that message that I've been waiting to send them for ages. Breathe before reacting. See yourself doing what you want to do and feel how ordinary it seems. It just feels so ordinary. Notice something that is extraordinary here then. It's not because it was difficult, because you did what you said you would do. It became extraordinary. It was never something extraordinary as a task, but it became extraordinary because you said you would do it and you did it. Now place your hand on your heart and whisper to yourself, I keep my word. I keep my word, and let those words settle. And as those words settle, you can slowly open your eyes. And welcome back. And today's experiment is not to make 5 promises to yourself or 10 promises to yourself. It is to make one small, tiny promise that feels almost impossible to fail. So if you say, I will drink 1 glass of water, I will drink 1 glass of water at 11 a.m. today, That's good enough. Or you say, I will drink 1 glass of water before lunch today. Good enough. Make it so small. Or maybe you have coffee, so 1 glass of water before coffee. Make it so small that you cannot fail at it, but keep your promise to yourself. And maybe you'll take 5 breaths before you pick up your phone. Maybe you'll walk for just 5 minutes, even if it's not outside, inside the house. Or maybe you'll send one heartfelt message today. Whichever one it is, keep it. Keep it small, keep it tiny, and make it extraordinary by doing it. So, today, don't try to impress yourself. Simply become someone you can quietly rely on. Make a tiny promise that you can do and just rely on yourself for doing it. We're not trying to say, oh, I can do this. I'm Superwoman or I'm Superman. No, that's not what we're trying to do. Because confidence doesn't arrive all at once, it comes in bits and pieces and slowly built. It grows every time your actions meet your words. Little bits. Okay? So don't, from today, say, I will do it and put it off. Even if you do say that you put it off for some time, go back, find that thing, and finish it because you need to trust yourself, not somebody else. And my friends, thank you for being here today. Let's begin again. Let's begin again. Have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow. It's really great to see you here today. Thank you so much for being here with me. Bye bye. Have a wonderful day today. Bye. Thank you for showing up here and building your own confidence by showing up here. And mine. Bye. I'll see you later.